And God said to Mackenzie Davis, you faithfully sacrificed yourself for the new savior of the rise of the machines. Now you're gonna star in a very, very void of emotional impact movie known as The Turning. Yeah, I came back from The Turning, a movie that I heard that is based on a novella called The Turn of the Screw, a novel that I don't know, I never read it, but well, let's go with the roll call of January. What do we got this in January? A crappy adaptation from a Japanese horror film. We got an underwater adventure that could have some potential, but it felt, well, kind of in the middle of the road. We have Dr. Dolittle being farted by a dragon. So apparently this year we're gonna hit a lot of the spectrums of bad films, of the all January films. So what do we get this week? How about a film that is basically nothing? At this point, I already told you the whole review. This movie is a whole lot of nothing. This is probably some people say that when you watch a bad movie, it's basically you're wasting your time. Well, not exactly for me. I get a lot of fun to watch these kind of movies. It does feel like a waste of time, but depending on what time you watch it, you don't feel like you wasted. I mean, I just saw this movie very, very early in the morning because yesterday I didn't felt like watching, movies in a faraway place. And I kind of knew that this movie was going to be so bad that I preferred to watch it on a matinee, which it only cost me like just $8. And so I did. Oh, man. The Turning. Basically, the biggest fear that I had with this movie is that it involves children. Creepy children. And I already gave you my opinions that when it's about horror movies, I absolutely despise movies that has to do with children or creepy children. When children are kind of like the center of attention. Because every time when a child appears and kind of becomes the focus of the horror movie, basically it brings out the stupidity of people just trying to protect the innocence of children and all this stuff. And this movie is no exception. It actually gave me a lot of the things that I absolutely hate about these kind of movies. But much more. By the way, excuse me. Apparently there's a car racing outside, so excuse if you're gonna hear the cars. But anyway, The Turning. It has a kind of like a basic premise. It has this. It's about this teacher played by Mackenzie Davis who she decides to pick up a job on a big, huge mansion. Kind of in the middle of nowhere to become a nanny of a little girl, and of course basically it kind of turns into a haunted house, and kind of like also child horror when out of nowhere a boy who is the little girl's brother, played by the kid who is famous by Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard. He appears. He's very hostile towards her, and then crazy, spooky things begin to happen, which is basically a mixture between a ghost story or Finn or Finn Wolfhard acting like a dick towards Mackenzie Davis. So yeah, it has the elements for the things that I hate. But let me tell you again, this movie is something to talk about. I have to talk about it, and so anticipation. This movie is gonna have a huge spoilers because the ending is something that I have to talk about it, and I don't want to make it an hour-long video. I'll give it my best, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. But still, there's not much to say because this movie is an absolute boring. It's a boring film, but sometimes the movie brings out stuff that is unintentionally laughable. It's so incompetent on what it wants to be. And if you're not sleeping through the whole movie, you're gonna be mesmerized and confused on what the hell is going on. So let's get out of the way some of the elements right now. I already told you again the summary. Mackenzie Davis goes to become a nanny on this big giant house that really looks like the house of Crimson Peak, because the whole movie kind of reminded me a lot of Crimson Peak for some reason. And I do remember that during the first 10 minutes, the patient was so boring that I just fell asleep. It only kind of, has the, this intro in which another nanny just runs away from the house, and then something happens, and then we see Mackenzie Davis probably giving kind of like her worst acting I have ever seen her doing. And I'm the guy who kind of forgive her performance in Terminator Dark Fate. But in this one, I find out that her acting was kind of a little bit phony. It's kind of like all the time, giving that smile, that blonde haircut, and the lipstick. I felt like I wasn't watching a kind of like a legitimate good movie. I felt like I was watching this horrible remake of the what was it, The Haunting, or probably Scary Movie 2. That's how I felt. And then we get to see the other characters. For example, we see, I think it's the Nana, who also the maid slash the cook, who is this kind of like this old lady who gives them a kind of like a decent performance, kind of like this creepy Nana who knows everything, but she's kind of like this real stern kind of member. The little girl, oh my god, I know that people are gonna say that she's a really good actress. I heard a lot of people saying that, and she is for the kind of girl that she was trying to play. But I kind of hate this kind of acting, especially on little girls, in which they kind of act so precious and so innocent and wide-eyed. She's that kind of girl that I honestly despise, and even in real life, I despise girls that act like this because it's really, really manipulative. And then, especially, and it doesn't help that in every horror movie, when a girl kind of acts like that, it is a clear sign that she's gonna be probably the villain or the cause of everything. And guess what? She kind of is. But not for a long shot. Actually, the one that has that role is Finn Wolfhard. Just when he just comes out of nowhere, and then he's basically bad-mouthing Mackenzie Davis. He's kind of out dissing her, and it's been clear shown signs that this kid is technically a sociopath. Like for example, they get a phone call that he was strangling another kid, so he got expelled from boarding school. But I'll give it this: Finn Wolfhard, bless my soul, I like his acting. He's pretty much a good actor. Of course, I don't blame him the material, but thanks to that, he was probably the only reason I stay awake during the whole movie. He was probably kind of like I got really interested in him because he totally disses her every single time, and sometimes he acts really creepy, like picking up spiders to feed it to another a giant spider. He has a tarantula. He technically goes along with the instruments. He's very friendly with his sister, but not with Mackenzie Davis. He even kind of threats her and sometimes acts creepy, like watching her sleep. No, seriously. So pretty much this kid is kind of like Macaulay Culkin's the good son. Oh man, but you know what? This is only the least of the problems that this movie has. There are other minor characters that appear in this movie, and basically, well, they serve kind of like no purpose into the movie. One of them is Mackenzie Davis' roommate, in which she's kind of just there to, you know, give her calls and to, you know, show that, oh, okay, you're doing fine, okay, hey, what's going on, and all that. And in the beginning of the movie, we also see that Mackenzie Davis, she kind of gave an exposition that she was an orphan. She took care. She's a teacher. She took care of like 30 kids. So what's the difference between one kid? Well, one kid, or in her case, kind of like two. And she also has a mother that she's mentally insane, and she lives in this big room, which is kind of like a swimming pool, where she's painting all over the place. And I was like, okay, first off, what madhouse is gonna chuck a person in a room big enough that you could fit a swimming pool there? And it doesn't feel secure. It doesn't feel secure. What kind of hospital is that? Because, okay, I'm gonna nitpick this thing. During the whole scene, you see her walking around, and you see people, you know, doing yoga, kind of like having some teaching. I don't know what the hell is going on. And she entered the room with a swimming pool, and there's this woman. I forgot the name of the actress, but still, she's just there with, you know, lots of painting. She's painting kind of like crazy stuff. She acts kind of like manic depressive, but she's just there alone. At least I'll give it this. At least she's not as crazy as that old lady from The Grudge. So, okay, so basically I told you a little bit about the acting. And now I'm gonna talk to you about the pacing that is so slow that nothing happens. Again, it reminds me of Crimson Peak. It's all build up, and then I was like, okay, movie, how long? Things finally begins to happen, probably at the 45 or an hour long, in which things finally gonna happen. Everything's kind of like a build up. It begins to have, you know, Mackenzie Davis being badmouthed by Finn Wolfhard, who he even kind of like give her death threats and all this stuff, and he is driving her. And of course we got the little girl who she kind of acts like a spoiled brat, and whatever Mackenzie Davis, she kind of complains about Finn's personality to the old lady. The old lady is like, no, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. You're the one who is out of the line. Yeah, and you know what? That's basically every single creepy children movie that I have ever seen. Whenever a child does something bad, the parents, usually grown-ups or a third person is gonna say, but he's a child, or he's so innocent. He's so innocent. is why people don't want to be parents. Sorry, I just blurted out something. But guess what? Although there are some things that I kind of... No. I better not talk about this thing. But I also want to talk to you that the movie then kind of halfway, or actually gives us a pinpoint at the beginnings that it wanted to become a little bit supernatural, because apparently they say that the house is haunted by... It's haunted by apparently the ghost of the father of the kids, who he was kind of like this abusive father, well, abusive husband, who apparently then killed off the wife, or something that this is the thing that I could remember. I'm sorry if I'm trying to struggle, but a movie that then comes out with the paranormal stuff a little bit too late. It begins to build up these things too late. It kind of got me to the point that I don't freaking care about the characters. I was like, what the hell is going on? Oh, and by the way, yes, this movie is plagued by cheap jump scares. Jump scares that is basically always kind of like fake, and then also sometimes the laziest common denominator of these kind of movies, which is none other than a jump scare and then you will wake up from a dream. Yeah, jump scare nightmares. But don't worry, this movie pushes because it thinks that it's clever, because this movie makes a dream within a dream jump scare. No, I'm not kidding. They do this. In a way, for a terrible movie, I kind of love to talk about it. I love to talk about these kind of movies. It's really fun to talk about it. But here's the thing. These creepy things, again, show up kind of like too late. Of course that the movie, what's a bad horror movie without having probably the most stupidest main character you could ever have? Because Mackenzie Davis, well, bless her soul, and she's a decent actress, but the material that she was given, made her actor like probably the stupidest person there is. Because almost kind of like 40 minutes into the movie, you can notice that she had no respect from any of the children, and the old lady, she's treating her kind of badly. She's being creeped out by horrible noises inside the house. She's been plagued by visions of ghosts and all this stuff, and of course she's kind of into a point in which she almost can't take it anymore, especially when when she wanted to bring the children outside of the mansion, but unfortunately the little girl is agoraphobic because her parents apparently died in an accident. I don't know, but she's agoraphobic, and then of course Finn Wolfhard kind of says, "Stop or I'll kill you." Yeah, basically she's kind of in a breaking point. It's so much that she kind of considers quitting. And I was like, yeah, at this point, get out of the house. A sane person will get out of the house. And I was like, fuck this. Fuck this children. Fuck this granny. Fuck the money. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Oh man, I'm talking like, these old cartoons in which they have some nannies can't can't handle, the naughtiness of some children, kind of like Dennis the Menace. It's kind of like dealing with Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes. But here's the stupid thing that happened. What happens is that she just goes back. She just called the roommate saying that, you know what, I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna quit. Oh, okay, quit. And then she just hesitates. And then it's like, no. I made a pinky promise with the girl. I'm gonna stay. I hope this serves as a moral, people. Never do pinky promises with little girls, because little girls can know how to manipulate you into it, even if you are in the brink of insanity. And by the way, also, there are instances in which you must break your pinky promises. And yeah, she comes back, and then she becomes more insane when we finally get to see ghost visions, predictions, everything. My God, I'm having a lot of fun, talking about this. But still, again, this movie reminds me of Crimson Peak, because in Crimson Peak is another one of those boring ass movies in which it takes a while to get into it, but it almost never happens. It's a long build up. And yeah, you're like, what the hell is happening? This woman is so stupid that after she returns, she kind of agrees to play hide and seek in the basement, where she even hits her nose. And she's like kind of accusing the kid, like saying, you're the culprit. I'm not the culprit. I was just here hungry. And he just kind of eat the Pop-Tart in front of her. And then the granny is like, you're the one who is unstable. You're the problem with the children. And then she begins to investigate. But all these investigation kind of doesn't make any sense. The movie can't make up its mind if it's going to be about a creepy children, or it's going to be a paranormal thing, that something's wrong with the house. But so you are there utterly confused. Because apparently this movie, it wanted to become kind of like about creepy evil children, but it didn't want it to go all out and saying that children can be evil. So it wanted to give out an excuse that are ghosts. It's time for me to talk to you about the thing that people will talk a lot about this movie. And you know what? I don't care. So it's time for the grand spoiler. So it's kind of like an hour, 10 minutes into the movie, and then something hits me in my head. And I was like, hey, remember that there was a mother? We heard shit about this mother, so why build her up at the beginning of the movie and we barely talk about her? I mean, she even give her a painting saying that this painting will save you, will keep you safe. Nothing happened. This painting doesn't appear later. But just at the moment when that question popped out of my head, the Mackenzie Davis character gets kind of like a letter, an open letter in which apparently the granny kind of like opened it and saying, no, it wasn't really that open. I don't know what happened. And when she opened it, it is a couple of papers painted in black with I think it was acrylic paint or something like that. Something like this. Yeah, I make something like this so you could have an idea. So anyway, what happens is that apparently she feels that this is bad, and then after being haunted by the ghost of the father, who is known as Clint, this guy, apparently he kind of looked like, for some reason he kind of looked like if Michael Sheen from the Dr. Dolittle movie, he just became a ghost and becomes a little bit evil. That's how he looked like, because he kind of looked like he had a beard and everything. He begins to haunt Mackenzie Davis. Apparently she's been led by the ghost of the wife in order to see a pond where she just like looking at the pond, and then a hand grabs her like, oh no you don't, you come here. And all this, it was to see that underwater there's the corpse of this woman. and she's like, oh fuck this, I'm going, fuck this, I'm gonna save everyone. So she goes in the house. She apparently then encountered, you know, the granny, and the granny apparently is like, you don't know anything. I need answers. No. You're crazy. And she gets pushed down the stairs by the ghost, and then apparently we finally reach kind of like the third act, in which, with by pure laziness, it was kind of like Mackenzie David kind of begins to play hero. She goes to, you know, the little girl is like, come with me, I'm gonna save you. Put on your brave face like I taught you. And then he goes like to Finn, and he's like, yeah, I know you don't like me, but this is evil, so I'm gonna save you. Okay. So they finally out of the house. So yeah, but there's no big scene, no ghost, you know, something like that, like, you know, these kind of ghost movies. No, it's just kind of like there. Even the ghost kind of politely opened the gates somehow. So yeah, apparently, I was thinking that, well, maybe, okay, the movie will end probably by saying that the ghost took over one of the kids. Because, you know, it is confirmed in the Conjuring, saying that whatever, that the hauntings usually doesn't stay in one place. They move from person to person sometimes. So yeah, they move. They finally go with the car into the horizon. The end. No! What happened is this, and you're not gonna believe me. Then apparently the shot of the car going into the distance turns into a satellite view in black and white, and then it zooms out to the paper. The paper that the mother brought us, and we see Mackenzie Davis like, that must be a vision. We must get out of here. I was like, and let me tell you, my expressions was like that. Mommy, what the hell? It rewinded itself. It was like, no, you're not gonna get that ending. We're gonna have another ending. So apparently what happened is that, at that point, Mackenzie Davis is like, we gotta get out of the house. And then she accidentally destroys the little girl's favorite toy. And the kid is like, what's wrong with you? And then apparently the movie kind of plays out like that Mackenzie Davis became crazy. And then it shows you know, the mother kind of like something like that, and then kind of we get a shot of the pupils of Mackenzie Davis, and inside her pupils we zoom into her eye, and in her eye she's Mackenzie Davis inside the pool, kind of like this artsy thing, and then she sees kind of the back of the body of the mother, the back of the head, and then we don't see what happened, but the mother kind of turns to see Mackenzie Davis, and she's like, ah! And then the movie ends. What? The movie ends! And it was like, what the hell happened? Movie! What happened? And then it ended! What happened here, movie? What? Did you want it to become the next Descent? But you didn't even know how to end the movie. Because you didn't earn it, because at least in the Descent, it felt earned. But not in this one. You brought me up into this point in which you could have ended something, at least little. But no, you decided to, no, we're not gonna end like this. This is the real ending. Probably the main character is actually insane. No, movie. You just gave me clues that it's not in the character's head. You didn't earn it. You didn't earn it. It's just a total net that you didn't even know what to do. So much that, you know, in the trailer that you see a scene of the kid, of Finn Wolfhard, you know, with a spider in his mouth. That never happens. That never happens in the movie. And, oh my god, that was so... and you know what? There were only a few people in the movie theaters. We all, including myself, stayed there during the credits, in which the first part of the credits, it was like, you see kind of like a hand, I don't know, if, you know, rubbing against a wall with some interesting paintings. And then after that, the second part of the credits roll, in which we see this woman, you know, the woman who drowned, you know, just kind of giving her a ballet underwater or something like that. Because I was mesmerized to see what the hell happened. And then the movie ends without giving us any answers of what the hell was with that ending. Even I look at the person who was next to me, and the person next to me, he was like, that was stupid. Of course it was. It was stupid. Oh my god. You know, oh man. So, alright. There we go. The Turning. Oh, what a bunch of nothingness. This is a movie with no ambition, no direction. It is basically probably this year's Wonder Park. Jeez. Here's this movie really cements my of why I don't like the kind of movies in which there are creepy children and they're not gonna. They feel that they want to keep out the innocence of children, and they just want to give out an excuse of that there is a ghost. And don't get me wrong. There are some creepy children's stories that you can do really well. And also there are also ghost stories or haunted house stories that they can work really well. I'm not against these kind of sub-genres, but you have to... but this is basically a run-of-the-mill January bad film. And The Turning, my god, it's just... nothing. Just nothing. Yeah, so probably this is a movie that you really turn off some screws. But that's some kind of prediction.